Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou. They are about to make Dana White look stupid because they're all about the money. Dana White looking foolish and Saudi looking real good. But this is the thing to me, right? The argument is, does Francis Ngannou really have a chance against Tyson Fury in a boxing match? Okay? Then you have, some people really feel Francis Ngannou has a chance. I personally think he does. He has a puncher's chance. This is heavyweight boxing, and Francis Ngannou, my understanding, is in the Guinness Book of World Records for being the hardest puncher alive. Or the hardest puncher in MMA something. But I know he holds a record as being the hardest puncher, I think in combat sports. Nonetheless, if you hit like he hits, he just has to graze you, and you could be in trouble. Remember, years ago, Tyson Fury went down from a clean shot. I believe the guy was a southpaw, but anyway, Tyson Fury, big 6'9" Tyson Fury, went down. Looked like the damn Twin Towers when he collapsed, didn't he? But nonetheless, he was able to reach the point he's at now by showing that he has a chin of steel because those shots Wilder hit him with, we've seen what happened. You know, people go down and don't get up. Tyson Fury gets up. So for someone to say that Francis Ngannou doesn't have a chance or that Francis Ngannou is going to hit Tyson Fury with one shot and Tyson Fury is going to quit, I think both of those predictions are wrong. But what I will say is the money. Now, Dana White's out here saying that this fight is stupid. He said it doesn't make sense. He doesn't like it. It's just dumb. He doesn't like to see the boxer versus the MMA fighter in those crossover matches because it favors the boxer. Now, this is my question. Is Dana White saying that because he's not greedy and he really cares about Francis Ngannou as an MMA fighter, and he doesn't want Francis Ngannou as the former UFC heavyweight champion to look like someone who isn't capable of going to a sport of boxing and dominating? Is he concerned that he'll go over there and get hurt? Or is he concerned that if Francis Ngannou, who was the former UFC heavyweight champion, he's going to go over there and lose to Tyson Fury, and Tyson Fury makes it look relatively easy, that makes the UFC and the MMA world look stupid. Same way Jake Paul has been, doing what he's done to MMA fighters. Of course, those MMA fighters weren't in their prime, and they weren't fighting in the MMA bout. In the same way, Floyd Mayweather, who was older, basically, in retirement, came out just for the quick money grab and how he did McGregor. But rest assured, if this was a no-kidding MMA match, nobody would be sitting here scoffing at the idea of Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury fighting. Because I don't care what anybody says. If this was an MMA fight, it's over. It's over. You see, I could wrestle as well. And I used to box. And what I'll tell you is, when you're out there, whether you're playing or you're getting a real fight, and someone tries to grab you, just knowing simple stuff, man, about how to sprawl on your legs and knowing about your center of gravity, man, and getting low and just different things. It really makes a difference, because when some guys come at you and they try to grab your legs or they grab you and go try to step around and get their side control on you and all that, if you've never ever done wrestling, done grappling, I don't care. You are in a different world and you will be lost, and that person can be half your size, and all of a sudden you find yourself on your side, on your back, on your stomach, and this mug choking you, and you don't understand how it happened. That whole MMA world of wrestling, grappling, jiu-jitsu, man, that's something to be respected. And the MMA world is not getting the respect. These fighters who are coming over to boxing aren't getting the respect they deserve. They're almost looking buffoonish. Because they come over there and they're getting, just with ease, boxers are dismantling them. But let me tell you something. Rest assured they deserve all the respect in the world. Because they're stepping into this world of boxing to where they have some skill, but they're not overly proficient in it because they've worked on multiple things. Have the boxer step into the MMA world and we'll see. Tyson Fury has gone on record and said he'll go over and he'll fight Ngannou in the MMA world. You know what? If he's going to do that, outstanding. Let's see it. Is Tyson Fury crazy enough to do it? Some say no. I say yes. You know why? Because he's all about the money. Listen, if Tyson Fury goes to fight Francis Ngannou in a rematch in MMA, Tyson Fury's making like $70 million for this fight. Something like that. Take that with a grain of salt, because you know the stuff that gets reported, only the fly on the wall knows what Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury are really making. But we do know 8 figures for Francis Ngannou, high 8 figures for Tyson Fury. But Tyson Fury is all about the money right now. So of course he'll go over and fight in MMA. Especially if they're going to pay, another $70 million. He doesn't care. Go over there. He's a gypsy man. He likes to fight. But I bet you as soon as they grab him and it's about to break his arm or something, he'll be tapping out. Serious. And then this whole thing about John Jones. He will go fight John Jones in a boxing match or an MMA match. He'll do it. And I tell you what, for John Jones, Dana White, he may allow that. As long as it's a 2-fight deal, 1 boxing, 1 MMA. But I tell you what, they'd have to do the boxing first. Can't do MMA first. Tyson Fury go over there in that MMA world for that first fight and get his leg broke or get kneed in the face or something crazy happen. Ain't no boxing. His career's over. So, nonetheless, Dana White's just salty because Francis Ngannou, he challenged the organization and he came out on top. And what that does is that sets a precedent. It sets a very interesting, to some people unpopular, to some people popular. It sets a precedent. And you can see other fighters who are at the top of their game, big names in the UFC, trying to come over and pick up a boxing match. But the thing is about those contracts that the UFC has, they're pretty explicit. And unfortunately, their fighters, especially if they're a huge name, coming over and just getting a one-off fight in a boxing match to make a quick $5-6 million, something they'll never make while they're under the UFC, they're prohibited. You look at Nate Diaz when he came over and he fought Jake Paul. Nate Diaz made like $20 million. That's crazy. That's more money in one night than he made it in his whole career fighting for the UFC. But he's much older, he's banged up, he's bruised up, and he still was giving Jake Paul the business down the stretch of the fight. He just doesn't care, man. You could tell in that fight he didn't care. But that being said, man, it's all about the money. And as long as Francis Ngannou, he's anchored down over there in Saudi Arabia, working hand in hand with the Saudis. He's a part of PFL. Saudi Arabia has a partial ownership. They have a stake in PFL. I think they purchased like $100 million. Let me tell y'all something. Francis Ngannou, and he's 37. Let me tell you something. Francis Ngannou may go on over the next 5 years to become a billionaire, as long as he keeps working out there with the Saudis, with PFL, and especially if they're bringing big name fights over to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and to Africa, which it looks like they're trying to grow their business in Africa as well. So just pay attention to Francis Ngannou, because Francis Ngannou, you may see other guys just starting to kind of just, hit that springboard and end up out there in Saudi Arabia. I'm telling y'all, just pay attention. We're in what's that, a zygote, man? The person first gets pregnant. This is like the zygotic stage of all this. You know what I'm saying? It hasn't even formed an embryo yet. This is just getting started with this whole thing about Saudi Arabia and what they're trying to do with combat sports. I'm telling y'all, pay attention. And I think as it grows, you're going to see Dana White. He does fights all over the world, but I wouldn't be surprised if he opens up a bit more to having his UFC guys fight boxers, because it's the amount of money that's there, and it's only right. It's like Puff Daddy just giving his publishing back to his artists. Like, yo, Dana White, give your guys their contracts back, or do a revision to it that allows them for maybe 2 boxing matches. But they got to give you so many MMA. Like make it a win-win for everybody. Bottom line is the UFC gets a piece of what their fighters make anyway, so I don't see why not. That being said, y'all keep cool. I think Ngannou, I think he's won. He made Dana White look crazy, and that's why Dana White's saying he thinks this fight is stupid. Tyson Fury is laughing at everybody because Tyson Fury is just out here just trying to make the most money possible before he retires. Remember, his wife was giving him pressure about retiring. Remember, he had a child that was sick. The baby's come full circle. Big girl now. But what I'm saying is, Tyson Fury's been through a lot. And you know he's got things on his mind, and he cares a lot about his family. His family's first. But he recognizes the opportunity here in this final stretch of his career to make millions, and talk about generational wealth. No Fury child, grandchild, great-grandchild, great-great-grandchild, if they don't want to, ever have to work the amount of money this man is making in this fight, what he's going to make in the next fight, and the next fight, and all the money he's already made. He is set, man. But anyway, Dana White being a hater, let's see if he has a change of heart, starts to allow his fighters to do what Francis Ngannou did before his fighters start trying to find ways to wiggle out of their contract. That being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents, and the breeze.